Master Your Emotions by Thibaut Meurisse. Summary published by Audiobooks. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Your emotions don't control you, you control them. Discover how to master your emotions and unlock the life you've always wanted. Part 1: What Emotions Are. Imagine standing in the middle of a forest at dusk. The shadows stretch out like silent spectators, and the faint rustle of leaves stirs an ancient instinct within you, fear. That fear, raw and unfiltered, is your survival mechanism at work, a gift from evolution to keep you alive. In Part 1 of Master Your Emotions, the author peels back the layers of this primal gift, revealing how it shapes our emotional experiences. 1. How your survival mechanism affects your emotions. Our emotions, the book explains, are deeply rooted in our survival instinct. Long before modern comforts, our ancestors relied on fear to avoid predators and anger to defend themselves. But in today's world, where saber-toothed tigers are replaced by emails and deadlines, our survival mechanism often overreacts. Your brain isn't interested in your happiness, it's obsessed with your survival, the author writes. This obsession means even minor challenges, like a critical comment or a delay in traffic, can feel like life-or-death scenarios. This misplaced intensity causes emotions to flare unnecessarily. The key takeaway: learning to master emotions begins with recognizing when your survival mechanism is in overdrive. 2. What is the ego? Enter the ego, the storyteller of your mind. The book likens the ego to a protective mask, creating an identity out of labels, achievements, and comparisons. But this mask comes at a cost. The ego thrives on judgment, often twisting events into narratives of "I'm not good enough" or "they're better than me." The author reminds us that the ego isn't inherently bad, it's simply a mechanism trying to protect us. The challenge lies in separating your true self from the stories your ego tells. As the book says, the ego wants control, but freedom comes from letting go. 3. The nature of emotions. Finally, the book explores the transient nature of emotions. Imagine emotions as waves in an ocean, rising, cresting, and inevitably falling. The problem is we often cling to these waves, letting them toss us around. Emotions are neither good nor bad, they're messages, the author writes. Happiness signals alignment with your values, while sadness nudges you toward change. By understanding emotions as messengers rather than enemies, you can ride the waves without being consumed by them. Part 2: What impacts your emotions? Picture this: you wake up groggy after a restless night, barely drag yourself out of bed, and stumble through your morning. By lunchtime, every minor inconvenience feels like a personal attack. Sound familiar? In Part 2 of Master Your Emotions, the author delves into how seemingly small, everyday factors, from sleep to music, play a monumental role in shaping our emotional landscape. This section isn't just a checklist of tips, it's a guide to unlocking the emotional stability and joy that often feels just out of reach. 4. The impact of sleep on your mood. Sleep is the foundation of emotional resilience, the book declares. Without adequate rest, your brain operates like a foggy windshield, you can't see clearly, and every bump in the road feels catastrophic. Sleep influences your mood-regulating chemicals, like serotonin, and when you're sleep-deprived, irritability and negativity creep in like uninvited guests. The author shares an empowering truth: prioritizing quality sleep isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Imagine your mind as a phone battery. Skipping sleep is like refusing to charge it overnight. By morning, you're running on 15%, and by noon, you're emotionally drained. The solution? Create a bedtime ritual to recharge fully and wake up ready to face the world. 5. Using your body to influence your emotions. Have you ever noticed how slumping in your chair makes you feel unmotivated? Or how smiling, even when you don't feel like it, can boost your mood? This chapter uncovers a surprising truth: your body doesn't just reflect your emotions, it shapes them. Emotion is energy in motion, the book says. Moving your body, whether through a workout, a stretch, or even a brisk walk, creates a ripple effect on your mood. The posture you adopt and the way you carry yourself send powerful signals to your brain. If you want to feel confident, start by standing tall. If you're stuck in sadness, let movement shake you free. 6. Using your thoughts to influence your emotions. Your thoughts are like seeds, the author explains. Plant negative seeds, and you grow a garden of frustration and despair. But plant positive seeds, and you nurture joy and gratitude. This chapter emphasizes the immense power of your internal dialogue. The author offers a golden rule: what you focus on grows. Dwelling on problems amplifies your stress, but shifting your perspective, finding the lesson or humor in a challenge, can transform your emotional state. Remember, emotions are often born from the stories you tell yourself. Change the story, and you'll change the feeling. 7. Using your words to influence your emotions. Words are not just tools of communication, they're creators of reality. The way you speak about your life, others, and yourself determines how you feel. Your words are your wand, the book reveals, and they cast emotional spells. For instance, saying, "I'm stuck," feels heavy and hopeless, while rephrasing it to, "I'm figuring it out," sparks possibility. This chapter teaches you to be mindful of your language, turning it into a source of empowerment instead of limitation. Start by replacing self-critical words with compassionate ones, and watch your emotions shift. 8. How your breathing affects your emotions. Imagine a time you felt overwhelmed. Chances are, your breathing was shallow and rapid. The author introduces a profound yet simple tool: your breath. Breathing isn't just a biological function, it's a direct line to your emotions. Control your breath, and you control your state, the book asserts. Techniques like deep belly breathing can calm anxiety in seconds, while rhythmic breathing energizes and uplifts. The beauty of this tool is its accessibility. You carry it with you wherever you go. The next time stress threatens to take over, take a deep breath and reclaim your calm. 9. How your environment affects your emotions. Your environment is more than the physical space around you, it's the energy you immerse yourself in daily. Cluttered space, cluttered mind, the author warns. A chaotic environment breeds stress, while a clean, organized one invites clarity. But this chapter goes deeper. It challenges you to audit your emotional environment, the people you interact with, the media you consume, and the habits you entertain. Surround yourself with positivity and inspiration, and your emotions will naturally reflect that. It's a reminder that sometimes, the key to emotional mastery is simply changing your scenery. 10. How music affects your emotions. Finally, the book explores a universal truth: music is magic. The right song can transport you to another world, lifting your spirits or providing comfort during tough times. Music speaks the language of emotions, the author writes. The chapter suggests using music as an emotional tool. Feeling low? Play an upbeat track to shift your mood. Need to focus? Opt for calming instrumentals. By curating playlists that align with your emotional goals, you can harness the power of music to influence how you feel in any moment. Part 3: How to change your emotions. Imagine standing at the edge of a river, watching its currents twist and turn. The river is your emotional life, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent. But here's the secret: you don't have to be swept away by the current. In Part 3 of Master Your Emotions, the author shows how to step into the flow of your emotions, understand them, and, most importantly, change their course. It's not about suppressing how you feel, but about transforming your emotional experiences into something empowering. 1. How emotions are formed. The journey begins with a simple yet profound question: where do emotions come from? The author explains that emotions are born from 3 key ingredients: your thoughts, your interpretations of events, and your body's reactions. For instance, imagine being stuck in traffic. One person might feel rage, interpreting the delay as a personal injustice, while another feels relaxed, seeing it as a chance to enjoy a podcast. The emotion isn't in the traffic, it's in the interpretation. Your emotions are stories you tell yourself, the author writes. Recognizing this is the first step to rewriting the narrative. 2. Changing your interpretation. Here's a powerful idea: emotions aren't facts, they're perspectives. The book invites readers to reframe their interpretations. If someone cancels plans, instead of assuming rejection, you could interpret it as an opportunity to rest or try something new. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change, the author quotes. This chapter emphasizes that by shifting your perspective, you can unlock new emotional responses. Reframing is like putting on a new pair of glasses. Suddenly, the world looks brighter. 3. Letting go of your emotions. Imagine holding a burning coal in your hand. It hurts, yet you refuse to let go. That's how we often deal with negative emotions, we cling to them, letting them scorch us. The author introduces the concept of emotional detachment, a skill that allows you to release what no longer serves you. Emotions are like passing clouds, let them drift away, the author advises. Techniques like mindfulness and journaling can help you observe your emotions without being consumed by them. Letting go is not about denial, it's about making space for peace. 4. Conditioning your mind to experience more positive emotions. Think of your mind as a garden. If you want more flowers, positive emotions, you have to plant seeds and nurture them. This chapter dives into the art of cultivating positivity through habits like gratitude, visualization, and celebrating small wins. Gratitude turns what you have into enough, the author writes. By regularly focusing on what's good in your life, you can train your brain to seek positivity naturally. Over time, positivity becomes less of an effort and more of a default state. 5. Changing your emotions by changing your behavior. The way you act can influence the way you feel. The book describes this as a reverse feedback loop. For example, if you smile, even when you don't feel like it, your brain receives signals that you're happy and starts producing feel-good chemicals. This chapter encourages readers to take small actions aligned with the emotions they want to feel. Feeling low? Go for a walk, call a friend, or tackle a small task. Action breeds emotion, the author reminds us. Sometimes, doing comes before feeling. 6. Changing your emotions by changing your environment. Just as a seed grows differently in fertile soil than in rocky ground, your emotions thrive, or suffer, based on your environment. The author urges readers to assess their surroundings. Are they supportive or draining? Whether it's decluttering your space, surrounding yourself with positive people, or seeking out nature, small changes to your environment can lead to big emotional shifts. Your environment whispers to your emotions, the author writes. Make sure it's saying something kind. 7. Short-term and long-term solutions to deal with negative emotions. Negative emotions are inevitable, but they don't have to control you. The book provides a toolkit for dealing with them in both the short and long term. Short-term strategies include deep breathing, journaling, or engaging in a distracting activity. These techniques provide immediate relief, like applying a bandage to a wound. For long-term solutions, the author emphasizes self-awareness and personal growth. Understand the root causes of recurring negative emotions, address unresolved issues, and build habits that foster resilience. Healing takes time, the author notes, but every small step brings you closer to emotional freedom. Part 4. How to use your emotions to grow. Imagine your emotions as a compass. Every feeling, whether it's joy, jealousy, or fear, points you towards something deeper. In Part 4 of Master Your Emotions, the author unveils how emotions, even the difficult ones, can guide your personal growth. This section shifts the perspective on emotions from something to control to something to learn from, encouraging you to see them as tools for transformation. 1. How emotions can guide you in the right direction. Your emotions are whispers from your soul, the author writes. They're not here to hurt you but to help you. Happiness often signals alignment with your values, while discomfort might be nudging you toward change. Imagine feeling a pang of envy when a friend achieves a goal. That emotion isn't there to punish you, it's showing you a desire you haven't yet acted on. The key is to stop resisting emotions and start listening to them. The author explains, when you treat your emotions as guides, they become your greatest teachers. 2. Recording your emotions. This chapter introduces an invaluable practice, journaling. Writing down your emotions allows you to identify patterns, triggers, and areas for growth. It's like shining a flashlight into the corners of your mind. Clarity begins with observation, the author states. When you record your emotions, you gain insight into what sparks them and how they influence your actions. Over time, this practice builds self-awareness, empowering you to respond rather than react. 3. Not being good enough. Feelings of inadequacy often stem from harsh self-judgment or impossible standards. You are not your achievements or failures, the author reassures. This chapter invites you to shift your focus from perfection to progress, emphasizing self-compassion over self-criticism. By reframing the belief of, "I'm not good enough," into, "I'm growing every day," you can replace self-doubt with confidence. 4. Being defensive. Defensiveness often arises from a need to protect your ego. But instead of guarding your flaws, what if you welcomed feedback as an opportunity to grow? Every criticism is a mirror, the author explains. It reflects areas where you can improve. By lowering your defenses and embracing constructive criticism, you turn moments of discomfort into stepping stones for growth. 5. Stress and worry. Stress and worry are signals that something in your life needs attention. Instead of letting them consume you, the author suggests breaking problems into actionable steps. Stress thrives on ambiguity, the author writes. The clearer you are about your next step, the less overwhelmed you'll feel. Whether it's creating a to-do list or simply taking a deep breath, small actions can bring calm to chaos. 6. Caring what people think of you. Imagine being a bird trying to fly while constantly looking around to see who's watching. That's what life feels like when you care too much about others' opinions. This chapter encourages readers to focus on their values rather than external validation. The truth is, people are too busy worrying about themselves to judge you as much as you think, the author points out. Letting go of this fear gives you the freedom to live authentically. 7. Resentment. Resentment is described as a heavy stone in your emotional backpack. Carrying it doesn't harm the person you're angry with, it harms you. Forgiveness isn't about them, it's about freeing yourself, the author writes. Letting go of resentment doesn't mean condoning bad behavior. It means releasing the emotional grip it has on you and reclaiming your peace. 8. Jealousy. Jealousy is a spotlight on your unfulfilled desires. Instead of letting it breed negativity, the author suggests turning it into inspiration. Jealousy reveals what you want, the author explains. If you envy someone's success, use that feeling to motivate yourself. Transform comparison into curiosity, what can you learn from their journey? 9. Depression. Depression often feels like a deep, unshakable fog. The author emphasizes the importance of small, consistent steps to climb out of it. Hope is the antidote to despair, the author writes. Focusing on tiny victories, getting out of bed, taking a walk, or reaching out for support, can gradually shift your emotional state. This chapter also encourages seeking professional help when needed, reminding readers that they don't have to face this alone. 10. Fear/discomfort. Fear isn't your enemy, it's a sign you're stepping out of your comfort zone. Growth begins where fear lives, the author states. When you feel fear, it often means you're on the brink of something meaningful. This chapter encourages readers to face their fears in small, manageable ways, turning discomfort into courage. 11. Procrastination. Procrastination is less about laziness and more about avoiding discomfort. Whether it's fear of failure or overwhelm, procrastination keeps you stuck. Action cures procrastination, the author writes. Taking even the smallest step can break the cycle. Start with 5 minutes of focused effort and watch momentum build. 12. Lack of motivation. Motivation isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. This chapter highlights the importance of discipline and aligning your actions with your values. Motivation follows action, the author explains. When you take action, even when you don't feel like it, motivation often catches up. Conclusion. Imagine walking through life with a tool belt, each tool representing a skill to navigate your emotional world. That's what Master Your Emotions leaves you with, a well-equipped mind and heart to handle whatever life throws your way. The book is not about eliminating negative emotions or pretending to be happy all the time. Instead, it's about understanding that emotions are a natural part of life. They're messengers, not enemies. They show us what we value, highlight areas for growth, and help us connect with the world around us. Throughout the journey, the author teaches us that emotions are not fixed. They're dynamic, shaped by our thoughts, behaviors, environment, and even our breath. By mastering the art of interpretation, letting go, and cultivating positive habits, we can shift from being at the mercy of our emotions to guiding them in a way that serves us. The book emphasizes that challenges like stress, fear, jealousy, and procrastination are not just obstacles, they're opportunities. Each emotion, even the unpleasant ones, holds a lesson. As the author beautifully puts it, your emotions are not the enemy. They're the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. Ultimately, Master Your Emotions isn't just a guide to emotional management, it's a manual for emotional transformation. It empowers you to face your emotions with curiosity and courage, helping you unlock a life of greater resilience, self-awareness, and inner peace. Remember, you don't have to get it perfect, you just have to start. The tools are in your hands now, it's time to use them and step into a more intentional, emotionally enriched life.